really good point. So we're on proc now. Flare lost 2 to Tomatito, as you pointed out in the pregame. On proc, their kind of traditional map. Burbology, though. I7 double VZ CS T100. Both team opting for the T100. I think both these teams have been running T100 a lot on this map. On both sides. To varying levels of success at times. But double Super Conqueror is the big thing I think I see from Flare. They're slower. They can't really make those crossings over the rails if they have to. But gee, if they become the tanks that are kind of like getting pushed on, they have to be picked fast because they're deep. Even if you pick them quickly, they're kind of like picking a T57 back of the day, where it's like, yeah, you killed it, but it definitely got out 1600 damage first, and it took you a while.
Right.
You know. Nowadays, though, T57, I mean, it still can get out 1600, but it can also not. Can shoot the moon a few times with this clip, but
the T57 was absolutely broken when the heat mechanics didn't exist.
When it just went through tracks and spaced armor like butter.
Well, before the accuracy nerf, where it just was 4 shell shooting straight.
It had higher DPM than just the normal single shot tanks, and it was an auto-loader.
Right. It had higher DPM than the single shot tanks. It had 340 heat. Tracks didn't mean crap to heat back then. So
it was a lot faster back then too.
It was.
It was like almost as fast as an E5. It didn't reverse super slow, and Nexus going for the one-line eyes. October in the middle.
That's the thing I feel like a lot of people forget. Like, at one point or another, most of these tanks were absolutely broken, except for Chinese heavies. They never were good. I don't think
when the 5A came out, people thought it was really, really good, and I think it was really good, but...
the 5A had a better, like,
I think they buffed the Super Conqueror right afterwards,
than the 113? Yeah.
I think they buffed the Super Conqueror really hard right after. May be wrong. Maybe misremembering it. Because I'm trying to remember when the Super Conqueror went up, and because they increased HP, I think, to 2400. Or maybe it was when the 215B was still there and the Super Conqueror wasn't out yet. That maybe. God, it's been so many years. This is like 6-7 years ago now. Look at this. There's a trap by Flare.
That won't work.
Because nobody coming.
Yeah. That won't work because Burbo is driving down the 2 line.
So they'll still be able to peel out of here. They just don't have a gun to really get the resets on the 1 cap. That's their main
Has he not lit anybody yet?
Maybe? I don't know. I think that the second if he were to light any of those heavies, for example,
I feel like we would see a flex, right? So
yeah.
He doesn't lit.
He lit the I7, and now they're going, uh-oh. Oh, Nexus got lit. If Nexus gets stuck here, that is not good. He needs to be able to get out. And he does. He manages to go dark and just barely get out. You can see there's the flex that you were talking about. Knowing how Flare would think and stuff, we saw them do an A-line push before. They're going to try to gobble up south, and they're going to be trying to pivot their Super Conquerors likely to the F-line. They want to take F-line and south and just get resets that way. And that's exactly where they're flexing towards. Now, how exactly they're going to do it, they just have to move. It's going to be slow. Onion actually, and Bloop not going F-line. They're going to stay in the north. I'm a little surprised.
And Onion's trying to find the angle.
I'm a little surprised.
There is only 1 on cap, and most teams never put more than 1 on cap unless it's like, I would say like 50-ish seconds is when you put 2 on cap, because then it drops down to like, 30 something, and then it starts getting, you know what I mean?
I guess the Super Conquerors are just going to take the kind of more risky route to get to F-line, because I just don't see them staying and going D or something like that. You would normally kind of initiate with them going F-line while you push the south, so that if there's any guns down there that want to shoot at them, they just do it while your flexi tanks are going, and there is an easy I7.
It's the FK joint push, the classic. And it looks like they are doing the classic.
And October takes a hit.
Octo taking no damage, though. Yes, the Russian light tank have IS-7 armor.
And you can see Bloop is there. It looks like think it was skipping the other one.
Oh, he's taking damage now. Nexus doing a little chasey chase. Trying to get a little 1v1 action going on.
45 seconds on the cap with the I-7 on there, but they're just going to pretty much ignore that for now. And Muscles and OP are looking to counter push towards external, but Dark and Dodo are coming in here.
Really quick.
Both teams in a bit of an awkward situation and still married to the cap, but I think he wants to get off of it now. Because, yeah, there's the reset. There is no more cap pressure, and now OP has a big crossfire position here.
Oh, Dodo taking a lot of damage.
Dodo going up and over. He's down to 900 HP.
400.
Oh, and he cuts off Nexus just a little bit.
Well, he's trying to live, but I think he's going to go down to the IS-7. IS-7 reload is pretty.
IS-7 should load in a second. Nope, not in time. And Nexus
now he's going to be looking to shoot Nexus.
Oh, and he gets ammo wrecked by Skip! That's absolutely massive!
And it's all...
Turbo down 2k HP now.
He was full health. He literally only got shot one time.
And now Burbology just scattering. Octo goes down. And T100 from Nexus is just going to be able to free farm this. They don't have to like necessarily get too crazy. They just need to avoid getting shot from the far south as much as possible. But Muscles
Major's down to one shot. Bloop goes down. Major Pain is one shot. OP is one shot. There's so many one shots. Skip coming in. He's like, I'm going to Amarak Canway next. Let's go.
Dodo just has to stay alive. He knows that. He can poke up if something crazy happens, but Onion just gets to go. They're probably communicating because Nexus is like, I have free shots. I just can't connect because the T100 gun refuses to cooperate.
Right. And plus, it's pretty hard to hit those. They might have skipped a little.
Onion's bleeding a lot of HP and not just removing one of these guns. External is still full health as well. He could push in, and I think there may be just some cluttering of maybe comms or something. There's some hesitation going on. Because I thought Onion was just going to synchronize with External and just simply go up and delete one
External
gun.
just needs to start fighting the CS, and then he can just help him. And the VZ could even go a little bit back mid and then also help with the CS. I don't understand what's going on here. Like, kind of throwing? Hello?
Maybe they felt like they're on defense so they don't have to, but I mean, Kenway being allowed to do that, Nexus is just running and hoping not to get killed here. He should make it out unless there's a double tap happening.
I guess they're playing for time.
Now, yeah, if Nexus is out, they can play for time.
And Muscles is chasing External, which is not good, because then he can turn around. Like, External has to take this fight now, but now he's not going to have any support, because Nexus is so far away, and he's the only one that can support him, so it looks like Burbology actually might pick this up.
It's
like Burbo would have to. They would have to have that guy with HP.
Dead.
I mean, it's probably not possible, but like if they had a little bit more HP, I don't know why they would. Like, it's kind of weird that they played like this.
Even External at the end there showing you he's going for a track shot just to simply try to slow Muscles down an extra second or two. But Onion, yeah, still has 1k health.
But I mean, the Amarak sealed the deal. Like it literally was. It was Burbology's game. It was like actually Burbology's game.
That I-7 was gonna die, but he was gonna do another shot to 2 shots of damage for sure before.
I would probably say two to maybe even 3, because I think the only thing that was killing him at the time was Skip. And then like Dodo had to get safe.
Yeah.
So Dodo had to get safe, and then Dodo would have clipped into him. You know what I mean? Like after, but that's just insane.
And I think that, yeah, the decision at the end, it turned out to be the right one, was to just play for time. Flare just maybe going, hey, let's settle down. We just need to do this. We don't actually have to go kill them. But when Onion was poking up for those shots, it was kind of like, oh, well, if he's going to take the hits, he might as well just remove one of the guns.
Yeah, I didn't realize that IS-7 had taken more hits since then, because at one point he had like 1600 HP. I was like, oh, the IS-7 can just push Skip now, but he had like way lower HP towards the end there when Muscles was pushing External. But like, no, I think we both were kind of confused on like why did it. But I guess at the end of the day, they didn't have to push in, right? So they were just playing it safe and getting a win, which is like the smart play. Me and you were just way too aggro, right? We were like push.
We got too excited. Yeah. It's the playoffs. Come on, excitement.
Fantasy points. You know.
Onion getting out though, 4k damage and 3 kills. Dark 2400 in his I-7. Dodo, despite taking that damage, still got out 2 kills and 2600. Ploop 2k, Nexus 1200, External almost 2k. Muscles 4k from the south in that CS. OP 3,500. The VZs did a lot of work. Kenway got out 2K. December and Octo didn't get out too much. Major got out 1,400. But CSs, I mean, Muscles especially that round. But yeah, the VZs, wow. They did a lot more than I thought they actually were going to do in that. And we've seen VZs brought on Brock and then not brought. And it feels like, oh, God. They are really, not to say this, oh, God. They are really hit or miss. Like they're when they hit, they're impactful, really impactful. But when they miss, it is really bad and like almost auto loss. It feels like
the VZs.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and it's not always easy to get them in a situation where you know they're going to be able to make those shots count because Proc has so many different variables and so many different things they can be shooting at, low probability shots and stuff. But on that brawl, yeah, they just got out a lot of punish and none of them were deleted immediately. Dodo looked like he was going to get deleted, but he did. So yeah, Flare up 3-2.
Yes.
Now they set a trap on Proc and Burbo did the 2-line push. And teams haven't been doing the 2-line play very often on Proc attack because, well, if teams set up for it, they just kind of lose. But Burbo did their scouting. They found out that they weren't there, but
right.
Now I'm wondering,
I think, to be honest with you, like I said, like the ammo rack helped him so much. It was just such a big, because it was like the IS-7 was keeping 2-ish, 3-ish tanks lit and also occupied, right? And he would have done it for about 25 to 30 more seconds, which in that, I think what was going to happen is External was probably going to get picked if that IS-7 lived that long, right? Because if you looked at the way the heavies were set up on the 9 line, it looked like they were looking and waiting for Muscles to light that. But then when that happened, it was kind of like, oh, snap. You know what I mean? And they didn't have that time. But it looks like we're going into tank picks again.
Oh, yes,
2 IS-7s from Team Flare straight off the back. And then IS-7 VZ CS.
Yeah, and the morale, too, of an ammo rack. Like, that can be, because the guy that gets ammo racked usually like, I just got ammo racked. You know, like, it's all, like, catastrophe. And meanwhile, for the team that's winning, it's like, like,
yeah,
you
usually
know, there
when
is
I get ammo racked,
thing.
my desk is like, please don't.
And sometimes it can also phase the caller too, because they go, oh, I was just playing with, like, you know, it's just like someone just kicked the table and then like swatted a piece off of the table.
Right. I was like, the last time I got ammo racked, it was when I was 3-marking the VZ. Had my webcam on, was like having fun. I was doing really good. And then I like crossed and I got double tapped. And I like click four, you know what I mean? Because the first shot hit that ammo rack, it didn't help, right? And I got full on ammo rack. Webcam turns off, mic turns off, music stream. You know what I mean? I was so mad, so angry.
Players bringing the Sturv.
So I know his pain.
Sturv, hyper accurate. Flares brought this before, pretty sure, and we've seen teams like FHS and stuff use them too. Sometimes 2 of them on attack, and we've seen it used on the hill. If they're playing on the rail side, we've seen it used on the 1 line to try to suppress and get damage out. Varying levels of success. I think it's not a bad pick. It just pigeonholes you a little bit into what you can and can't do. But it's proc attack, and I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing to it gives you some options that you otherwise wouldn't have. A little more consistency. But Burbology looks like are going to go middle and 2-line defense. They're not going to care.
Pushing major pain. Are we gonna see both teams going 2? Ooh.
Yeah, Burbo has a good lineup to defend the 2-line, honestly. And the Flares lineup, I mean, it's okay. Like, they have the IS-7 to spearhead the push, right? But Dark Ninja takes 2 shots of damage.
Wait,
from that
did he get lit?
CS.
Ooh,
they're just going
taking a shot of damage.
Aggro. Look at all this damage coming out. Major's actually caught completely out in the open, but they're going to get counter picks for this and a lot of damage out. Smiley?
Yeah?
Where's he going?
He's scouting.
He found him. I mean, HP's still in favor of Burbo, but losing that gun's kind of a big deal. External's not
I don't think
dead.
it's a big deal. I mean, literally, Dark is almost dead. Bloop is on fire. Dang.
They were just too slow, and those VZs...
Bloop is like, I wasn't even the one that ammo racked him. You know what I mean? Because he got cut on fire.
Muscle's taking a little bit of damage as they disengage, but Dodo, the only one with HP, kind of able to lead the charge here. I mean, yeah, very interesting initials from Burbo, because they did what a T100 would do with the eyes with the CS, and the CS did it just about as well, and those tanks were just a little bit too slow to get off the K-line, and that Super Conqueror double VZ farmed from middle with the CS, like, a lot of damage. Where they then could just kind of get rid of the I-7.
That was so much bleed, I thought there was like 3 stirves in the middle of the map. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It was crazy.
And I thought they should have been able to get safe in time. I don't know if they slowed down or didn't take the proper route. I'm unsure. Dodo does not die there, as October, I think, shoots underneath him, but Muscles picks up the kill. I liked Burbo's strat, though. If they played aggressive middle, kind of going the same thing we say. They brought a stir. They're either going, 2-line or they're going 0-line. They're not really going to be playing mid. And we're going to use the CSs to just spot something. One of those heavies is going to have a bad spawn, and we're just going to light it up. Now, I didn't expect them to get the kill with the fire, and that made a difference, but even if they didn't get that right, they were still in a pretty commanding spot.
But, but having this many people in front of the Sturv's gun is not a good idea?
No, it is not. Because Onion is now up to 4k damage or so? Tobear still has so much HP. And External has just quietly been staying alive, playing very scrappy in the middle of play, where it's just nothing's perfect, but he's just audibling a lot. He's flexing right. He's just trying to limit angles where he can, while people are poking up trying to get him. But this is actually kind of close.
It's kind of close, but they don't have to. Burbo is probably just gonna, get everybody together, calm down. It's just a stirve, and you know,
everybody run away.
Yep.
Just run away is all they
run away. Go across rails. I mean, that's probably the best you could do. And they're gonna run down the time just like Team Flare did. External's equipment really interesting. Hardening rammer and optics. He doesn't have a V-stab.
Ooh. And in this situation, I think the optics was definitely a good choice. Now that he's arrived in this spot, he's able to spot out December, and the Sturf trying to get in position to get the shots. He's going to try to double bush himself from A2 so he doesn't get lit.
So the fact that Skip is still alive means that there's some Amarak potential. Oh, some blind fires going out.
Blinds towards External.
Mm-hmm.
And now December, because he didn't opt to just kind of completely disengage, he's gonna go down here in just a moment. Onion is just gonna keep firing until he gets the kill.
The problem is Onion might not have the... He only has 23 rounds left, which seems like a lot, but when you're taking slim shots like this...
Yeah, and 3 minutes remain. You can see all the impact craters near him, and there's another blind going out all around him. He's just looking for December. It's just so slim. External gets him to relight, but it's likely just a pixel shot, part of the turret, as December just tries to stay alive as long as he can.
And like I said, now he's on the 20 ammo. Muscles picks up
External.
External gets lit, and it's basically GG. Oh, and he picks him up.
Finally gets December. 2.5 minutes remaining. Problem is, not just Muscles has HP, but Octo as well.
So if this 1-1 trade keeps on going, these teams will play against each other in a tiebreaker.
Octo's got 4,500 damage. My God. And there's the detection. There's the ram. Onion will be dead here in just a moment. So maybe just a bit of a risk from...
So apparently Burbo bringing V-stabs is like not a thing on CSs anymore. I don't really pay attention to equipment. I'm too busy like thinking about how they're playing,
I mean, I can see that. Unless they're trying to do that hard rocking thing that we saw on
Mm-hmm.
things like Cliff, but maybe not on, Proc,
Oh, the
for example.
floppy. Wasn't it
Yeah.
Floppy that did that, or was it Fluky? The one that just like
The
did the
problem
rocking
is
thing?
I will not remember which one, but yeah. Onion still got out 5,500 damage, almost 2 kills.
I think it
No
was
one else
Floppy. He
topping
did like the
2K.
he did the rocking thing on the top of the hill.
At the
And
lighthouse.
then ever since then, like nobody's ever let him do anything in a CS. You know what I mean? He's just
Muscles in
like
December, 3,400, pretty much mirror damage right there.
mm,
3,400, 3 kills though for Muscles, one for December. October though, 3,100 and a kill. So the Bears getting out 6,500 and 2 kills between
yeah,
them.
and I don't know how much Bloop's fire was, but that was some payback if I ever did see it.
Yeah, it's I think because of the Amarak, it's hard to say, oh well, unlucky, but yeah, and now looking back on it, if they did still have that Super Conqueror alive, it probably could have done a lot more damage.
Mm.
But yeah, I don't know. And Major got out one shot of damage, but he died. I mean, it's part of the. I guess he keeps them lit so that they can continue to fire on him.
Yeah, I think it's because he lived so long, right? Just
Mm-hmm.
moving there in front of the whole team.
Wow. So the next map, guys, it's gonna be Cliff.
Mm-hmm.
Since we were talking about that lighthouse play.
We were just talking about that lighthouse.
One thing's for certain. I cannot imagine a situation where there's not going to be at least 4 CSs on each side of this map. Both teams are going to bring 2.
Mm-hmm.
Should be a given.